We continue now at the top of Daf Chavdalid Amud Aleph from Meseches Chagigah. This is Chagigah Daf 24a. On the previous summit, the Gemara had quoted the Mishnah which said that when it comes to Kodesh, so if you have a bunch of food in a kli, the kli is mitzarfun, meaning if one piece of food becomes tamei, all of the food in that vessel becomes tamei. The question is, what was the reason for that? Rav Chanin on the previous Amud said it's a din doraisa. He learned it from a pasuk. Problem is that there's a Mishnah in Edius with Rabbi Akiva's opinion over there that seems to indicate that it's only a din midrabanan. And so the Gemara now answers lo nitzrucha ela l'shiyori mincha. When Rabbi Akiva said it was drabanan, really it is doraisa. But there's a case of leftover of a karban mincha. There, it actually is not, the kli is not mitzaref on a doraisa level. That's what Rabbi Akiva says. In that one case, by the leftovers of a karban mincha, the kli is only mitzarfo on a dirabanan level. What's the reasoning? Doraisa tzarech l'kli hakli mitzarfo. Because on a doraisa level, only those items that are part of the karban that require a kli, so the kli joins them together. She'ein tzarech l'kli ein kli mitzarfo. But if the item does not require a kli, so then the kli is not mitzarefit. Va'asu rabbanan v'gazra, and the rabbanan come along and they make a gezerah. The afagav de'eino tzarech l'kli, that even though it does not need the kli mitzarfo, still the kli does join it together. We'll take a look at Rashi over here. Lo nitzrucha lahai edus Rabbi Akiva to midrabbanan ela l'soles shel shiori mincha. We're talking specifically about the flour of the leftover part of the mincha. In other words, you've already put the komets on the mizbeach. You have some leftover soles, some leftover flour. Again, that's eino tzarech l'kli. And Rabbi Akiva is saying that on a derabanan level, the rabbanan came along and they decreed, even though it's not tzarech l'kli, the kli is mitzarfo. Now that's a good answer for soles. The problem is that Rabbi Akiva did not only mention soles. So the Gemara says teinach soles. That's a good answer for soles. Ketoras ulavona ma'ikal amemra. But Rabbi Akiva also mentioned the ketoras, the incense, and also the lavona, the frankincense. So what are we going to answer for that? And the Gemara answers Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabba bar Avua. Rav Nachman says in the name of Rabba bar Avua, Kagon shet sovran al gabe kartavla, because the case could be that you put the ketores or the lavona on top of like a flat leather board, and so the Gemara says the oraisa. So on a oraisa level, yesh lo toch mitzarif. If the kli has an inside like a receptacle, so then it can be mitzarif. Ein lo toch, but if it doesn't have an inside, meaning it's flat, like this case of the kartavla, so ein mitzarif. Really, it shouldn't be mitzarif on a oraisa level when you have the ketores and the lavona on this kartabla. The also rabbanon v'tiknu, and so the rabbanon came along and they're misake and the afagav the ein lo toch, even though this leather board does not have a toch, mitzarif, still it is going to be mitzarif. So that's how we can answer regarding the ketores and the lavona. The Gemara now points out upliga de Rabbi Chanin ad Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Rabbi Chanin, who says again the halacha in the Mishnah is a deoraisa halacha that the kli is mitzarif, that actually argues on Rabbi Chia bar Abba. The Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Chia bar Abba says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, me'eduso shel Rabbi Akiva, nishnis Mishnah zu, that our Mishnah is actually following the testimony of Rabbi Akiva, meaning the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, that it's a din d'Rabbanan. According to Rabbi Chia bar Abba, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, our Mishnah is not a din d'oraisa, it is a din d'Rabbanan. We'll take a look at a couple of Rashis over here. The pasuk that we learned it out from was the ketoris that's in the kaf, in the spoon. The Iri Bakra, that's what the pasuk was talking about, that Reb Chanin learned it from on the previous Amud. So kli mitzarfo, it's got to be similar to that. The kli is mitzaref, meaning that it's tzarech l'kli. In that case, the ketoris needed to be in that kaf. V'she'eno tzarech l'kli, if it's not needed to be in a kli, could go in shiore mincha, like the leftover the karban mincha, meaning she'en achilas kohen, that's the part of the mincha that's eaten by the kohen, ein hakli mitzarfon, so then the kli is not mitzaref. Rashi continues, Ma'ikol Amemar, again, what are you going to say by the ketoris and the levona haretzrichen l'kli? Those do require a kli. The Gemara says, well, you can put them on a kartabla or shalok, again, that's like a leather board, and Rashi continues, upliga had Rabbi Chanin, in this statement of Rabbi Chanin, that it's a din d'oraisa in the Mishnah, damar le'el tzirif d'oraisa, ad Rabbi Chia bar Abba, that argues on Rabbi Chia bar Abba. And the Gemara continues at the two dots, the Mishnah said, haravi ba kodesh pasal, by kodesh, something can even get to the level of ravi in tumah, meaning the fourth level of tumah, that's going to be pasal, can't go to a fifth level, but it can get all the way to a fourth level. Tanya, we learned in a brayso, Amar Rabbi Yossi says, minayin l'ravi ba kodesh shu pasal. How did we know that a ravi ba kodesh is considered pasal? So the Gemara says, v'dinu, we can learn it out as follows. Umam mechusar kippurim, if somebody who is just lacking bringing a carbon for their purity, in other words, they've gone through all the steps of the purification process except for bringing the carbon, so the halach is by a mechusar kippurim shemutar b'truma, that the mechusar kippurim is allowed to eat truma, but pasal ba kodesh, but that same mechusar kippurim is not allowed to have a carbon, he's pasal for karbanos. So shlishi, so when it comes to a shlishi, shepasal b'truma, in general there is a third level by truma that's called shlishi, it's pasal by truma. So eino din sheyasa revi l'kodesh, so that same shlishi, which is pasal by truma, doesn't it make sense that there should be an additional level by kodesh, and it should create a revi by kodesh? V'lamadnu shlishi lakodesh min haTorah, u'revi'i b'kal v'chomer. And the Gemara says that the fact that there is a shlishi by kodesh, that's actually straight from the Torah, and the fact that there's a revi is the kal v'chomer that we just made, and the Gemara explains. Shlishi lakodesh min haTorah minayin. How do we know that there's a concept of shlishi by kodesh on a doraisa level? Because the pasuk says v'habasar asher yiga b'chol tamei lo yochal. It says the meat that touches anything that's tamei, one cannot eat that meat. So what are we talking about in this case? Milo askinon denaga b'sheni. The case over here in the pasuk, isn't it talking about where the meat touched a sheni, meaning it was a shlishi? The pasuk says you can't eat it, meaning there's such a thing as shlishi b'kodesh. And revi mikal v'chomer hadi amron. And the fact that there's a revi, that's from a kal v'chomer, that's the kal v'chomer we just brought above, this ma mechusar kippurim, the kal v'chomer from mechusar kippurim. And we'll take a look at Rashi over here. Mechusar kippurim kosher l'truma upasal l'kodesh. And mechusar kippurim is allowed to have truma, is not allowed to have kodesh. That's b'yavamas yalfina lamikroy b'perika arel. That is learned out in Yavamas. Shlishi shapasal b'truma. Shlishi is possible by truma. Can nafkal and kal v'chomer Meseches sota. That's a kal v'chomer in Meseches sota. It says umat tvul yom shemuter b'maiser. Tvul yom, again, that's somebody who immersed in the mikveh but didn't wait for the sun to go down. So that person is mutter to have maiser, but aser b'truma, he is aser b'truma. So then they make the following kal v'chomer. Sheni shapasal b'maiser. A sheni that is possible by maiser, meaning there's such a thing as sheni by maiser. And then she asked a shlishi b'truma. Certainly there should be shlishi by truma. Again, truma is at a higher level than maiser. And then she asked a revi b'kodesh. And then again we make a kal v'chomer that there should certainly be a higher level even by kodesh than truma, and it should be revi. Rashi asks, usually when we make kal v'chomers, you can't learn out something more than the thing you're learning from. So if you're going to make a kal v'chomer from truma to kodesh, and truma is a shlishi, we should make a kal v'chomer that kodesh could be a shlishi. You don't usually make a kal v'chomer that if truma is a shlishi, so kodesh is a revi. That's called dayu lovim and adin lios kanidon. So how do you make this kal v'chomer here? Imkain kal v'chomer lo tzarech. So Rashi explains, no. If you said dayu over here, so the kal v'chomer would be useless. Why? Sharei lamadnu shlishi lakodesh min haTorah, because there already is a pasuk for shlishi lakodesh min haTorah, and you don't need the pasuk because you have a kal v'chomer. So clearly, so once you have the pasuk, the kal v'chomer becomes extra, and therefore we use the kal v'chomer not for shlishi lakodesh, but we use it for revi b'kodesh. When the kal v'chomer is not usable, so to speak, we don't say this principle of dayo, and again, you can therefore use the kal v'chomer for revi b'kodesh. That's what we say in Bava Kama. Now there's a mandamar that says that we do say dayo. So hani milos derabanan. So for that, Rashi says really all of these stringencies are derabanan, v'lav doraisa, and they're not doraisa. V'haidenakat v'lamadnu shlishi lakodesh milsa bi'almahi. Dashminan the shlishi lakodesh min haTorah. The fact then that the Gemara here is saying that we learn out shlishi by kodesh, what's the point of saying that if we're really just answering that these are milos? So Rashi says no, that's just a general thing. We're just telling you that shlishi lakodesh happens to be min haTorah. Then the Gemara said milo askinan. Isn't the pasuk talking where the meat touched a sheni, and that shows that you have shlishi b'kodesh? Milo mishtamanami mehaikra. Don't we also see from this pasuk that the basar asher yiga b'chol tamei is talking about basar that touched the sheni? The naga b'sheni da eshkachon de ikri sheni tamei, because we find in general in the psukim that something that's a sheni is called tamei. Dechsiv kol asher b'socho yitma v'havalei hakli rishon u'masha b'socho sheni. That's the case in that pasuk over there. The kli is a rishon, and that which is in it is a sheni. V'kari le tamei uses the word tamei. V'kamar achmana v'habasar sheyiga b'chol tamei b'sheni. It's talking exactly about this. Meat is touching tamei, which is a sheni. V'havalei shlishi, and it's a shlishi. This kodesh lo yochal can't be eaten. V'aikra b'bisar shlamim. This pasuk is by the meat of shlamim, meaning this pasuk is by kodesh. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said uvitruma im nitmes v'chulu. It was saying over there that by truma, let's say one of a person's hands becomes impure on a derabanan level, that doesn't automatically make the other hand impure by truma. But by kodesh, if one of the person's hands becomes impure, so then the other one will also become impure. Again, this is all talking on a derabanan level. So Amar Rav Shizvi says b'chiburin shanu. This idea by kodesh that we're strict and we say the other hand becomes tamei, that's only true b'chiburin when there is attachment. Aval shelo b'chiburin lo. But if there's no attachment, we're not strict in this regard. Rashi over here explains b'chiburin shanu masnisin dekatani yad metames chaverto lakodesh. When our Mishnah says that one hand renders the other hand tamei, when we're talking about kodesh, kagon shebaod shehayad hatmeya nogas latahora. It's talking specifically in the following case: when the hand that is tamei touches the pure hand, haisa tahora nogas b'kodesh. The pure hand is also at that exact same moment touching kodesh. In other words, the way that Rav Shizvi is understanding the Mishnah is one hand becomes impure on the Rabbanan level, it touches the other hand, and that at the same time that other hand is also touching kodesh. The gazer Rabbanan dil ma'asi lemin gat tamei b'kodesh. It's just a gzeir Rabbanan that we're afraid that the tamei hand might have touched the kodesh. Now, according to later on, we're going to see in a moment that we say that it is only at the level of pasul, not the level of tamei. That's coming up in one moment. The idea is, again, it's just a ma'ila b'alma, it's just a stringency. We'll see that in a moment. And Rashi continues, Aval shelo b'chiburim, but according to Rav Shizvi, if there's no connection, meaning, shalachar shepirsha min ha-tahora, chazra tahora v'naga b'kodesh, after the impure hand touched the pure hand, then the pure hand touches kodesh, so tar, it's going to be tar. One hand is not going to make the other hand impure. It's not even going to be considered a shlishi. The other hand is not going to be impure at all. It's not going to cause any problem for the kodesh. And the Gemara continues, Abaya asks the following question. It says in the Brisa, Yad neguva, if a person's dry hand, metame chaverta, can cause the other hand to become tamei, litame lakodesh, in order to make kodesh tamei. This is what Rashi was referring to before. According to this opinion, the kodesh is at the level of tamei, meaning it's a shlishi, and it can make a revi. Avalo truma, but it's not able to make the chaverta, the other hand, become tamei in terms of truma. Divrei Rebbe, that's what Rebbe says. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda says, livsol avalo letame. Even when we're talking about making the kodesh tamei, it's not tamei. It actually is just pasul, meaning it is considered a revi, meaning one hand makes the other hand impure as a shlishi, and the hand will then render the kodesh into a pasul, into a revi, but not into a shlishi. So that's what this brisa over here says, and the chiddush of the brisa is that this is true even when the hand is dry. So the question over here is, what's the case over here? One hand, this dry hand, rendering the other hand impure. What are we talking about? Are we talking about the other hand is at the same time handling kodesh like Rav Shizvi says? Or are we saying, no, it's not at the same time. We don't follow Rav Shizvi. So the Gemara says, and if you're going to say that this concept that one hand makes the other hand tamei, that is specifically true, or that is even true rather, when there's no connection, when it's not at the same time touching kodesh, then this whole line would make sense, because the Bryce is saying a chiddush even when the hand is dry. The idea is even when the hand is dry, so still we say that there is tumah. But if the case over here is that there's an attachment, meaning the real concern is that the impure hand might have touched kodesh directly, so and that's the only time there's a concern, shalo b'chibur and lo, but if there's no attachment, we're never strict anyway by the other hand. So my revusa de neguva, who cares that the hand is dry? It's irrelevant. Has nothing. The issue has nothing to do with one hand actually being metame the other hand. The issue simply is that we're afraid that the impure hand might have touched the actual kodesh. We'll take a look at Rashi over here. Yad neguva aval b'shein b'mashkin. Again, it means to say a dry hand, even though there's no liquid there. Letame es hakodesh lasos revi. What that means is, again, according to Rebbe, it's letame la kodesh. It makes the kodesh able to be metame others, that the kodesh is a shlishi and can render another level of kodesh revi. Rav Yossi Bar Yehuda Omer chaverta poselas es hakodesh. Rav Yossi Bar Yehuda says, no, it doesn't go that far. The other hand can pasel kodesh, it can make it a revi, avalo metame. It can't make it tamei, that it's able to make something else tamei, meaning it cannot make it a shlishi. And now Rashi explains what the proof is from the Brisa. If you're going to say that the tumah that goes from one hand to the other, whether it's making it a sheni or whether it's making the other hand a shlishi, that's what Rashi mentioned before. There's a mandomer that says it's just lifsol, it just pasels kodesh, meaning the second hand is a shlishi and the kodesh is only going to be a revi. But either way, when we're saying that it's metame, hainu revusa de neguva, that makes sense. If there's no attachment, it makes sense as a chiddush, even though it's dry. Meaning v'afal gav de neguva hi k'shanaga bezu, even though the hand was dry when it touched the other hand. Ve'in locha shemanaga hayara tor b'mashkin. We don't have to be concerned that the pure hand actually touched liquids that could make it tamei. Shebitzmeya shein rishon, because those mashkin are considered rishonim. The chalaposel asatruma metame mashkin lios tchila. As we've said already, there's a derabanan din on mashkin that anything that can pasel truma, any item that is tamei enough to pasel truma, will also render mashkin into a rishon. And then we'd actually be concerned that the second hand might have touched the same mashkin, and that the second hand is a sheni. That would be so with mashkin. It's if the hand is moist, it makes a lot of sense why we'd be strict on the second hand. But the chiddush over here is even when the hand is dry. Even here, where it's dry, still there's tumah. In other words, that's a stringency of the rabbanan. Shayad metames chaverta, that one hand can be metame the other hand. Layasos shniya kamosa lakodesh, in order that it can become a shniya with regards to Kodesh. We're only strict with regards to Kodesh, but it makes it a Shnia. That makes sense if there's no Chiburin, so there's a real Chiddush that, even though there's no liquid involved, still we say, even though the hands are dry, still one hand can be Metame the other. That would make sense if we didn't follow Rav Shizvi. But if you're going to say like Rav Shizvi, that the whole din really is, we're afraid the impure hand touch the Kodesh directly, meaning, and the stringency only applies when you're actually holding Kodesh at the same time. So v'tayim mishum dilma noga tamei lekodesh, that the issue is again maybe the tamei hand touch Kodesh. Who cares if the hands are dry or not? The first impure hand doesn't need moisture in order to be matame Kodesh. Below mashkin halo shnia, it's a shnia. It's a sheni latum. Of course you don't need mashkin in that case. So that's why it seems to be that, again, from this brisa, Rav Shizvi seems to be incorrect. And the Gemara continues, Itmar Nami, it was also taught along the same lines of Machlokas Amoraim. Amar Reish Lakish says, Lo shanu ela yado. It's only true by his hand, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chav Dalid Amud Beis.